night, dripping wax and chalice black, conjured souls that won't turn back.
Hello, and welcome to the Brethren of the Morning Star. I'm your host, Magister Cankerworm. One of the most widely recognized names in 20th century ceremonial magic and esotericism is Israel Regardie. He was famous not only for making public the secrets of the Hermetic Order of the Golden Dawn, of which he was an initiated member, but also for being Aleister Crowley's personal secretary when he was a younger man. One notorious piece of advice Regardie gave his readers was that anyone taking up esoteric practice should also regularly see a psychotherapist. The idea being that magic tends to bring things to the surface the practitioner was previously unaware of, things that, if not dealt with properly, could become toxic. I've always been skeptical of this advice, not because Regardie was wrong. He was right that occult practices unsettle forces within ourselves. I was suspicious because he himself was a therapist. A psychologist saying everyone in group fill in the blank should seek out regular counseling is not that far off from a priest saying everyone should seek the services of the church if they desire true spiritual direction. If anything, the recent popularization of video counseling services has only confirmed these suspicions for me. Many of the ads for these services imply, if not outright state, everyone ought to be seeing a therapist. My own recent choices, however, have forced me to think anew about these matters. Psychological concerns are a present and real issue for many theistic Satanists and left-hand path practitioners more generally. Where the typical occult seeker might evoke dangerous forces as an unintended consequence, the diabolist consciously courts and seeks to understand and integrate them into their own person. Therapy may or may not be the answer, but ignoring the risk is most certainly not. A few months back, I nuked all my content and online presence. The short story is that an episode of paranoia convinced me I needed to disappear as a public satanic voice. Advertising yourself as a representative of the devil brings unintended and sometimes unwanted consequences. One of these is that you get contacted by a broad range of people. Some are genuine seekers, some are genuinely delusional, some glow in the dark, and some curse you in the name of their God. Now, I do not blame the last lot. We are enemies after all. They are not wrong about that. Still, as someone who is prone to, usually mild, paranoia, knowing there are multiple people actively praying for your personal destruction can get to you over time. And trigger me it did. So much so that I told myself it was not a matter of if someone would figure out who I was and attack my family, but a matter of when. So I burned my channel and website to the ground, pulled my books from circulation, cut off all online contact, and went underground. It sounds manic saying it out loud now, and not a little ridiculous. Frankly, the whole thing is embarrassing, and I'm ashamed for letting several people down. I still hold a healthy skepticism toward therapy. Psychologists can become as ideologically captured by fads as much as any other profession. Where lobotomy and electric shock therapy were popular 70 years ago, an overeagerness to medicate psychological distress and behavioral issues is the fad of our current era. And while the modern client-centered model perhaps makes some abuses less likely than others, it has its own traps. Telling the client what they want to hear or expect to hear being foremost among them, perhaps. The values of the mental health industry are very much the same secularized Christian beliefs that underpin many of our Western social mores, which are often more human resources friendly than they are satanic. Be nice, be tolerant, value everyone equally, never exclude, confuse length with quality of life. There are no failures, only learning opportunities. Focus on coping skills rather than attacking the systems your problems arise from. As the Substack writer Deep Left Analysis writes, quote, mass therapy is a narcissistic feeding tube. The structure is as follows. 1. Find people who like talking about their problems. 2. If they don't like it, guilt them into believing this represents some moral defect. 3. Reinforce and feed narcissistic traits with constant words of affirmation and encouragement, telling the client that they are strong and brave for getting out of bed. 4. Tell the client that this is helpful, necessary even. 5. Milk them for that sweet health insurance payout for as long as possible. End quote. Deep left analysis might be over-exaggerating a bit here for effect. Nevertheless, there is truth here regarding the potential problems that can surface in modern therapy. Most people I have interacted with on the left-hand path with mental health complaints do not need months or years of therapy. What many of them do need is to get more exercise, eat a little healthier, and build more robust friendship networks. Those solutions will not solve all your problems, but if you are dissatisfied with your quality of life, putting energy into improving those areas will almost certainly result in increased overall satisfaction. To that point, if I had chosen to talk to someone about my thoughts, perhaps they could have encouraged me to step back, take a breath, and consider that the most drastic solution was not the only one to my distress. Or maybe they could have pointed out that the fact that I was weaning myself off my anxiety meds without consultation or the assistance of my doctor could be contributing to my perceived sense of danger and unease. Knowing me, I would have followed my instincts anyway, but still, it may have gone differently. My mental health issues are mild, however. With the exception of a sudden and brief onset of panic attacks several years ago, hence the anxiety medication I used to be on, I lead the life I want to lead, without too much mental unease or self-destruction. That is not the case for everyone. Some people fall into patterns of maladaptive behavior that consistently undermine any and every attempt to realize their goals. Some have spells where they are in near daily mental anguish. Others suffer from hallucinations, addictions, or compulsions they want desperately to be rid of, but cannot seem to shake. If any of that describes you, then seriously consider getting professional help. There is no shame in wanting to better yourself and admitting you need a helping hand in the process. And while I do not consider the judgments of the psychological community to be above questioning, neither do I think they are incapable of providing a valuable and sometimes necessary service. They are genuinely capable of helping people who need it. And if the symptoms I just described sound like you, I encourage you to seek their help. There is strength in admitting weakness, and no shame in asking for a hand to help pull yourself up. Only remember that it is your life, and no one else's. You make the decisions, you pay the costs. The advice of others, even if they have a medical title prefixed to their name, is just that, advice. The autonomy that theistic Satanism celebrates is both a crown and a potential trap. There is strength required in choosing and sticking to your own path, no matter the threats and naysayers. On the other hand, it is not unheard of for a dunce to mistake his cap for a king's crown. Heeding your own counsel alone can be self-reliance, yes, but it can just as easily be a way of shielding your delusions. We have a saying in our creed, I take refuge in the bonds of friendship, wherever they may be found. I wrote those words years ago as a reminder that we cannot do our great work alone. The people we love and trust can bring out the best of us, and they can reveal what we ourselves are blind to. But where there is no openness, there is neither true love nor trust, and therefore no chance of help. Even for those of us whose practice is primarily of a solitary nature, having someone you can confide in is paramount. It is advice that I have given others many other times. Too bad I did not listen to it myself.